Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today with who I think is going to be representing the Pac-12 in the championship at this time. In my opinion, the Pac-12 is wide open. This is the time where games actually really count because I don't think the playoff committee really looks at the first half. They more look at the second half. So let's see who I think is going to represent the Pac-12 championship at this time. The results might shock you. I think the Pac-12 is wide open in the South and North. I specifically thought it was just the South. Looking at the North now, it's also wide open. And there's some big games in the Pac-12 as well. So let's get into it. We're gonna start off with the Pac-12 South. The standings in the Pac-12 South are Colorado, number 19 Colorado is in first place. Second place, I believe, is USC with a 3-2 record and a 2-1 conference record. Arizona in third place with a 3-3 record with a 2-1 conference record. Then I think you get Utah in fourth place, Arizona State in fifth place, and UCLA in sixth place. So I think the Pac-12 South is weak. I don't see a team winning more than 8 games in the conference. I just feel like looking at the conference, it's going to be a lot of competitive games. The one team I will say that is out as of right now is UCLA. I think there's no way at 0-5 they're going to win the Pac-12 South at all. I think they're lucky if they win 4 games this year. So the way I see the Pac-12 South at this time, at the end of the season, I see Utah in first place with an 8-4 overall record with a 6-3 conference record. USC also with an 8-4 record with a 6-3 conference record. Utah has the tiebreaker because Utah is going to beat them head to head, I think, next week in Utah. Colorado third place, 8-4 with a 5-4 conference record. Let's see, Arizona State 6-6 with a 4-5 conference record. Arizona 5-7 with a 4-5 conference record, and UCLA in last with a 2-10 and 2-7 conference record. I think that UCLA is going to turn it on late this year and pull off an upset somewhere, and I believe they get somebody at home that they should beat. I think, and then I think they're going to pull off an upset somewhere. I look at Utah. Their schedule is the easiest as of right now in the Pac-12 South. They get USC at home. They do have to go on the road against Colorado, but outside of that, I don't see Utah really struggling much. I believe they have to go to one of the Arizona schools, I think, or maybe it's a school in the Pac-12 North. I forget. My apologies, but I think Utah is going to be representing the Pac-12 South in the championship at this time over Colorado, which I think is going to lose this week to USC, and they're going to lose a few more games against, I believe I have them losing to Washington, Stanford, and I think one of the Arizona schools. I think that I think USC's decent, but I do think Utah at home in that game is just going to win and get the tiebreaker when it's all said and done. USC, to me, I think USC is just having a down year. The Arizona schools, Arizona and Arizona State, I have Arizona not making a bowl game at all. Their schedule is pretty tough. I expected them to Arizona was my team in the preseason to make the Pac-12 championship representing the Pac-12 South. That is obviously wrong. I have them at 10-2, I believe, and I just look at the schedule. I look at the team. I don't see them winning much more. Arizona State. I mean, Herm Edwards has that team playing well. They're competitive in a lot of games, but, I mean, they look at least 2 to 3 years out from doing anything, Arizona State. But I do have them making a bowl game this year. UCLA, I just don't see us doing anything this year. First year under Chip Kelly. Maybe in a few years, or maybe as early as next year. But Chip Kelly has to get the right players for his system, and then they'll go from there. But as of now, I see the Pac-12 South. I see Utah coming out of the Pac-12 South with a tiebreaker win over USC. I also have Colorado with an 8-4 record, but the conference record is going to cost them at 5-4. The Arizona schools are going to be average, and UCLA is going to be the bottom feeders. So now you look at the Pac-12 North, which is much more exciting. Well, I won't say exciting, but they have better teams in the Pac-12 North. They have 5 teams above 500. They have, as of now, I believe the standings are Washington at 5-1 with a 3-0 conference record. Washington State with a 5-1 record with a 2-1 conference record. They've been a surprise team. Oregon with a 4-1 conference record. With a 4-1 with overall with a 1-1 conference record. Stanford 4-2 with a 2-1 conference record. Cal 3-2 with a 0-2 conference record, and then Oregon State 1-5 with a 0-3 conference record. I look at these teams in the Pac-12 North. Washington State is the big surprise. I'm really impressed with them. I thought they were going to be a 7-5 team, 6-6 team at the start of the season. They're looking like a 10-win team, and if they keep it up, they could very well come out of the Pac-12 North. I don't have them coming out of the Pac-12 North. I just think the schedule gets a little bit too tough towards the end. I look at Cal. The thing killing Cal right now is that both of your losses are in the conference, and I think that's going to cost you right now. I don't see Cal making the Pac-12 championship representing the Pac-12 North. Oregon State, I'm not even going to mention because I think they're out of the equation altogether right now. I don't see them at all making it. So to me, it comes down to 3 teams: Oregon, Washington, and Stanford. I don't think Stanford's going to make it. I think their schedule's tough, and I think they're a bit overrated, if you want the honest truth. I just don't see them making it. I think their schedule is tough. I believe they have to go up to Washington still, and that's going to be tough. That's probably going to cost them right there, that game. And then I look at Oregon and Washington. To me, it's really a coin flip between those two teams. I cannot tell you how big the Pac-12 game, Washington versus Oregon, is big. I cannot tell you how big that game is this upcoming week. I pick Oregon to win that game 27-23. I just think Oregon at home, it's in Eugene, Oregon. I just think Oregon at home is going to get the win with the home field advantage. And I think Oregon's going to be representing the Pac-12 North in the Pac-12 championship game. So, my standings at the end of the year, I think Oregon is going to be in first place in the Pac-12 North with a 10-2 record, with a 7-2 conference record. Washington, same thing, 10-2, 7-2 conference record. But the tiebreaker with Oregon being Washington, in my opinion, as of right now, I think will put Oregon over the top. If Washington wins that game against Oregon, goes on the road and beats Oregon, I think Washington will win the Pac-12 North. But really, the whole Pac-12 North is on that one game, in my opinion. Whoever wins that game, I think is going to win the Pac-12 North. Could be wrong, though, because you have Washington State. I have them in third place right now in the Pac-12 North. I think they're going to go 9-3 with a 6-3 conference record. They are the dark horse in this whole equation, Washington State. And they could very well get into the Pac-12 championship game and beat Utah or USC or Colorado, or one of the Arizona schools. They could very well do that. So keep an eye out for them, but I don't see them doing it. I had them going 9-3 with a 6-3 conference record and coming in third place this year. Fourth place is Stanford. I have them going 7-5 with a 5-4 conference record. And by the way, most of these teams have played 5, 6, 7 games. And then for fifth place, I have Cal. I think Cal's going to still make a bowl game at 6-6 with a 3-6 conference record. But I think the second to last is, as I have Oregon State losing out, going 1-11 with an 0-9 conference record. I just feel like I really feel like this game, Oregon and Washington, I cannot tell you how huge of a game that is in Eugene, Oregon. It is a big time game. And I just feel like whoever wins that game is going to win the Pac-12 North. Or rest Washington State really beats both Oregon and Washington, which they haven't played yet. Washington State's best win as of right now, I believe, is Utah. So we'll see what they do. But I think it comes down to Oregon and Washington in the Pac-12 North. But I will keep an eye on Washington State. So I think your championship as of right now in the Pac-12 North is going to be Oregon versus Utah. I could be wrong about this, but I really just see these two teams getting to the Pac-12 championship at this time. If Washington beats Oregon, though, it's probably going to be Washington in that championship. I will keep an eye on Washington State as well, but really in the Pac-12 South, it could be anyone except UCLA. But I'm going to give the edge to Utah. I think that they are the best team going to Stanford, even though without no Bryce Love for the Stanford Cardinals, Utah still blew them out. So I gotta put respect where respect is due. The only thing I am concerned about Utah with is I believe they lost to I want to say they lost to Washington State, and I believe they lost to USC. So actually no, they lost to I think they lost to one of the Arizona schools. But anyways, I think this is your championship as of right now. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. Who's going to be representing the Pac-12 championship. I'm not going to say who's going to win. I'll say this. I'll probably give the edge to Oregon in this one. But we'll see what happens. By the way, I don't think a team out of the Pac-12 is going to be in the college football playoffs this year. I just don't see it. Especially with a 2-loss champion, which I think is going to happen in my opinion. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below. Tell me what you think about this. I'm going to have videos about the SEC and Big 12 tomorrow. So keep an eye out for those. And thanks for watching the video. And this is McD the Beast signing off.